Okay, so Critical Drinker made a video a while back called Why Modern Gaming Sucks. Ugly characters everywhere. So I've been meaning to watch this one for a while. I had it on the back burner for saying, okay, this is a video I need to react to. But let me put it in one of my saved tabs for the time being, just so I can remember to react to it. So, and then I was like, oh shit, I never reacted to this because I wanted to. Because it'd probably be a good one to react to. It's been like a few weeks already. God damn it, man. and plus it's like, I need to have a consistent uploading schedule for this stuff. Alright. So let's react to the video already. It's been forever. So yeah. So but I'm actually curious to see how his analytics, his take on this, because I do agree with a lot of things he does say. He's a very critical person when it comes to entertainment. Critical Drinker. Now he has this Critical Gamer channel. I didn't learn about his Critical Gamer channel until I found this video. So like, oh, so he has that too. All right, let me sub to him for that. Anyways, yeah. So I'm gonna see what he says about this and give it a watch. All right, reaction time.
You know, one of the best things about video games is that they allow us to transcend the petty limitations of the real world, creating fantastical landscapes that defy logic, terrifying monsters, awe-inspiring wonders, and iconic characters, bound only by the limitations of the human imagination.
All the above!
It truly is the very purest form of creativity. Unless, of course, you happen to be a Western game developer, in which case your escapist fantasy entertainment absolutely has to reflect the world we live in today.
Yep.
The world we live in today. The world we reflect the world we live in today.
Okay, let me actually go ahead.
The world we...
To be honest, for the Spider-Man 2 design of Mary Jane, I didn't hate it. Really hate it. I didn't mind the redesign they did for her. At first I liked it because I just liked the new hair look they gave her. But looking more over time, it's like, because she felt like more like Mary Jane to me. But now, when I thought about more and more after giving more scenes for her and stuff, it's like, yeah, not a huge fan of it. Especially when one of the people who worked on the game, when you see the comparison between the two for anyone who's watched, who works at Sony, I think it was one of the writers probably, when doing a comparison to them, it almost looks like a self-insert, and it's like, yeah. So afterwards, it's like, yeah, they should have kept the first. I don't like how they changed most of the characters in Spider-Man 2. They didn't need, well, Peter's face model change was alright. Glad they didn't really change Miles that much. They just made him look older. Mary Jane's didn't need to happen. After looking back at it, why? Well, most of us know why.
We live in today. The world we live in today.
Abby.
The world we live in today.
And then there's that one.
You probably noticed that there's been a bit of a shift in the portrayal of video game characters in recent years, particularly the female ones. A process that probably has a far more technical name, but which a simple man like myself can best describe as uglification. It's like gaming is somehow de-evolving even as technology and production costs rise to astronomical levels, producing characters that look less human and more physically repulsive with each new release.
Yeah, that's the thing I never understand, right? You can... For female characters, you don't need to make them look like... Realistically, if you want to make things more realistic stuff, it's not hard to give them female, feminine, physical traits compared to what they did to Abby here, which is boo. And mind you, design-wise, of course that's awful. Character-wise, she's still very shitty. And mind you, she's a bad character when someone like the fiery Joker, who was critical of Joel from the first Last of Us game, hates Abby even more, and says Abby is a shittier character than Joel from his video essays. Not because, and mind you, he is not really critical of her design. Character-wise, she sucks. That's another thing to point out there, because he's not really looking at. I'm gonna look at who he's married, and one of his video game crushes being Zarya from Overwatch, who is actually has more feminine and muscular physiques than Abby here. Tells you a lot about Abby, huh?
A ruined and terrible form of life.
I mean, Jesus, look at the state of it. I don't think anyone wants to go on an adventure with this girl.
No.
A quick glance at your average AAA development page is like taking a walk down your average high street in Scotland. The faces you see vaguely correspond to your understanding of what human beings look like, but the features, proportions, and arrangements are so far off that you're left with a
See, I don't get why they do these actress models dirty. I hate that. Just saying.
disturbingly intense urge to get out of there as quickly as possible and never look back. And it's interesting to note that this phenomenon seems to be confined to one half of the population only, almost like it's intentional or something. The problem seems to have been bubbling away for a while now, but like an explosive diuretic fart, it could only be held back for so long before it made its violent entry into the world, destroying a pair of your best Calvin Kleins in the process.
Oh, fun fact, if I'm actually recording my playthrough of Stellar Blade on my Let's Play channel, so anyone interested, you can go check that out. It'll be in the description.
And the explosive release finally came with the advent of the Sweet Baby debacle, which has shed light on a lot of things that Western game developers probably would have rather kept secret. But there it is, all the same, and now that it's out there, it's fair game for people like me to comment on. So just like on my main channel, where I talked about the problems blighting modern Hollywood movies, I figured I'd make a video series here about why modern gaming sucks. And truly, where better to start with any good book than the cover. Part 1. Everybody's ugly. Now, rather than just point and laugh at how ugly characters have become in recent years, let's see if we can break this one down scientifically. And that being the case, the first major problem seems to be a general rejection of femininity and female beauty in modern game development. A perfect example of this is the character model for MJ in the 2 Spider-Man games.
Again. Okay, in the first Spider-Man game, she wasn't ugly. They didn't make her too overly attractive, but she wasn't ugly either. They made her model. I feel like they just made her moderately attractive is all. That's what I think they did compared to this one, and where I'm just looking like, yeah, they really downgraded her. And a lot of Spider-Man fans I know didn't like the design either. So.
In the same game series made by the same dev studio, but with a radically different appearance in each one. In the first game, you can quite clearly see the facial model has...
I mean, yeah, she actually... I mean, like I said, she's not overly attractive, but she still looks fine. I mean, and there you can see the major downgrade when looking at the other
all
one,
the traits commonly
from
associated with traditional femininity. Rounded facial structure, full lips, large eyes and a small nose. Now compare it to MJ in the second game, and well, I think you can spot the differences. This version has a large prominent chin, a wider and stronger jawline, thinner lips, heavier eyebrows, and eyes that are proportionally smaller because the rest of her face is now bigger. In short, she's got a far more masculine appearance than before. Interesting. Or how about Aloy from the Horizon games, a series that I actually quite enjoy.
Yeah, I liked it too.
The image on the left, how she looked in the original game.
Yeah, Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. I was not happy about that.
Not hyper-feminine by any stretch, because she's trying to survive in a primitive post-apocalyptic world.
And again, looking at her, she still has her feminine features at least. And then, why do you give her fat cheeks in fucking Forbidden West? What the hell, man?
Genetics aren't exactly easy to come by, but still, she's recognizably female, with the softer facial structure typically associated with women. The image on the right, on the other hand, is so masculine that if you were to give her some facial hair, you'd basically be left with a man. And a handsome man at that. Same deal with the main character from Star Wars Outlaws. Prominent chin that would make even Sergeant Slaughter jealous, a wide, strong jawline, thin lips and small eyes. Jesus, it's like these characters all rolled off the same bland assembly line. It's even more perplexing.
Yeah, I mean, looking at when you see the actress they used to model the character. Looking at her, look how attractive and feminine she looks, and look what they did to the in-game character for her. What the fuck? And that doesn't help that there's a huge ratio for it when they first revealed the trailer and everything. Oof. I'm pretty sure the actress would say something, but she might be under an NDA. Or something else.
See what her actress looks like. I could go on and on with this stuff all day, but you get the basic idea. The real question though is, why? Why are Western developers so against the idea of femininity and female beauty in games? I mean, if I was a cynical man, I might suggest that most game studios are infested with jealous, physically repulsive land whales who can't stand to be reminded that they've broken more mirrors than Conan the Barbarian.
You know what? I would think that's probably the case at times.
But let's go a little bit deeper than that.
Yes,
it's
there's more deeper meaning to this.
It's not a technology problem, that's for sure.
No.
Games have been capable of rendering accurate facial scans of real actors for decades at this point. I mean, look at Julia Voth from the Resident Evil remake. That game's more than 20 years old now, and the resemblance is uncanny.
Yeah.
Or Ellen Page in Beyond Two Souls, which came out in 2013. Or Hayden Panettiere from Until Dawn from 2015. Or
Another
Keanu
examples.
Reeves from Cyberpunk.
Yep.
And as for today,
Everyone loves Keanu
well,
Reeves.
all you need to do
Yeah.
is take a look at games like Final Fantasy Rebirth or Stellar Blade to see that we're more than capable of rendering beautiful characters on screen. No,
Right?
the issue here is a creative one. But why exactly? Well, there seems to be this weird assumption that gamers can or won't take a female character seriously if they find them physically attractive, so
Yeah, I think that's bullshit there.
the only solution is to reduce or remove any element of attractiveness and sensuality, producing bland, ugly, unappealing models that nobody wants to look at. For me, this is a deeply flawed premise on two levels. One, because characters like Lara Croft, Ada Wong, Jill Valentine, Tifa Lockhart and Aerith Gainsborough are all conventionally beautiful, but they've all stood the test of time as well because they were more than just their physical appearance.
Right?
They were all genuinely
Biggest examples of female characters that are great still keep their beauty and femininity. I don't know why I had a hard time saying that. And can still kick ass. And you can take them seriously.
characters that people liked and identified with. Their beauty didn't undermine that, it enhanced it. The second reason is, well, down to simple human nature. We as people generally prefer to look at physically attractive individuals. We instinctively seek out beauty, we're drawn to it, and we enjoy being around it. Why do you think so many Hollywood actors or models or pop stars are conventionally good looking? It's the same reason we don't go to art galleries to look at children's finger paintings. We want to experience something higher and better, something aspirational. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but there it is. The truth of the matter is that nobody enjoys looking at ugly people. Yeah, we know that most of us don't look like Chris Hemsworth or Sydney Sweeney, and that's okay. We know we'll never have a body like Chris Redfield or Lara Croft, and that's okay too. Why? Because we're not narcissistic idiots who need to see ourselves reflected in everything that we see and do, or have all our hang-ups and insecurities validated by pulling everyone down to our level. Believe it or not, human beings are a lot more mature and resilient than that. The other thing that strikes me is that a lot of the shitty modern tropes from Hollywood are starting to spill over into the video game industry, particularly when it comes to blurring the lines between men and women. Male characters in movies and TV shows today are often depicted as neurotic, insecure, emotionally fragile, cowardly, verbose and self-deprecating, generally lacking in agency or the ability to assert themselves in any particular situation. Women, on the other hand, are now written to be stoic, confident, assertive, arrogant and aggressive, which are the same exact traits that were once considered toxic in men. They're basically trying to turn them into men, or at least a warped parody of what they think masculine behaviour is, and I think that mentality is bleeding into gaming now as well. Female characters are being redesigned to look more and more like men, because game studios incorrectly associate masculinity with strength and femininity with weakness, rather than seeing both as just being different paths to the same destination. They desperately want to create tough, independent, empowered women, because let's face it, that's pretty much the only kind of characters they're allowed to write now, and because they lack the skill and imagination to construct interesting characters with actual feminine characteristics, their only solution is to churn out women who look, talk and act like the toxic men they despise so much. It's actually kind of funny when you think about it. Their own flawed worldview created a problem that they can only solve by replicating the same exact problem that they created in the first place. Son of a fucking genius.
Yeah.
And the thing is, who is any of this supposed to appeal to? Men certainly don't like it, because seeing their favourite characters turned into the Giga Chad meme to score social media points and court an audience that doesn't exist is irritating and depressing. Women don't seem to care much for it either, because I'm willing to bet that not many of them aspire to look like this. or this, or this.
Yeah,
Female
no.
gamers aren't going to feel sad and excluded just because they've seen Ada Wong killing monsters while executing a perfect backflip in a ball gown. Instead, they're going to see a cool, awesome,
Right?
beautiful woman kicking ass and doing awesome things. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's the whole
No.
point of playing video games, in fact. They're not supposed to reflect the real world with all its tedious, mundane problems and restrictions. They're supposed to represent something higher, something better, something more fun. They're supposed to represent what we aspire to be, not what we're stuck with in our day-to-day lives. And the more you try to fuck with that, the more you lose sight of the very purpose of your industry. And well, the more your customers are going to abandon you in favour of something better. Why do you think the Stellar Blade demo made such an impact? It's because the developers were smart enough to give their customers exactly what they want. A kick-ass beautiful woman in a skin-tight bodysuit. And in turn, gamers saw it as a giant fuck you to all the prissy, sanctimonious, fun-killing developers that are slowly strangling Western gaming. And if there's one thing
So
that
much
gamers love
controversy
doing
just
most
for
of
no
all,
reason.
it's saying fuck you to people.
All because she was an attractive main character that's female. And mind you, the model for the character model for Eve was actually based off an actual model for an actress, so I'll never understand it. I mean, even though the Koreans be looking way different than most of us here in the West, but still.
Who tried to control and lecture them. And for now at least, Eastern developers still seem to understand that fact. That's the great thing about the free market, you see. The customers can always go elsewhere, and if you don't change course pretty soon, you might just find that out to your costs. Anyway, that's all I've got for today.
Well, okay.
Go away now.
I will. Well, yeah, he made some good points here. I really liked what he said. It's not that hard, honestly. It's really not. That's the problem. That's why I always say in today's culture, we're progressing forward and backwards at the same time when it comes to stuff like this. And it kills entertainment. It's that simple. He says it there. It's happening in everything. Video games, movies, TV shows, comic books. That's why. Let me look at the comic section here real quick. I miss when someone being attractive wasn't controversial. Right? Only seems to be a Western issue. Celebrated has hot woman, fun gameplay, and zero microtransactions. True. They're about to make absolute bank. And they are. I'm ugly. I don't want to see myself in that type of media. The MJ transformation was completely ridiculous. How does the next gen model look significantly worse than the previous gen? Ask Insomniac. That's the big question. It's always funny how they hire actually attractive people to play the character, but make the character look ugly. Biggest example, the character from Star Wars Outlaws. Imagine being that actor. Yeah, I really wonder how she was it. Eve could never exist in real life. Neither could Italian plumbers with magical powers, a speedy blue hedgehog, and a yellow ball that eats ghosts. Bingo! I love that counter argument. And mind you, Eve is based off a real life actress for the model. MJ turned into Zac Efron in Iron Claw. People need to start taking offense for these companies making characters ugly to look like you because they're basically saying that you should stick to butter. Never apologize for wanting beautiful female characters. Not that hard anymore. Indeed. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. For anyone watching this video, let me know what you think. Like this video if you like this reaction, and tune in for more if I can maintain a consistent schedule for more reactions and other stuff. So if you do that, and please subscribe, you're awesome. Thank you, if you do. Yeah. So in any case, that's all I really have to say for this video. And for those who are watching again, thank you for watching. And until next time, I'm out.